Have you ever walked into a room determined to say no to a request, only to find yourself saying yes within 5 minutes? You leave the conversation feeling confused, perhaps even a little betrayed by your own lack of willpower. You replay the dialogue in your head, analyzing every word you said, trying to pinpoint the exact moment your resolve crumbled. But here is the terrifying truth that most people never realize. You didn't lose the argument during the conversation. You had already lost it before you even opened your mouth. The decision wasn't made in the moment, it was engineered. This is the art of the invisible setup, a psychological strategy used by master manipulators, high-stakes negotiators, and, unfortunately, toxic partners. They don't rely on logic or shouting matches to get what they want. Instead, they manipulate the environment, your biological state, and your subconscious associations to prime your brain for compliance. It's like a magician forcing a card. You feel like you have free will, but your choice was predetermined long ago. Most people think manipulation is about words. It's not. It's about context. But the most dangerous tool in their arsenal isn't just simple persuasion or charm. There is a specific, darker technique called the phantom debt, which creates a biological urge to submit that is almost impossible to resist. I'm going to break down exactly how that works later in this video, because once you see it, you will never be a victim of it again. To understand how this setup works, we first have to look at the biology of priming. Your brain is an association machine. It constantly scans your environment for cues to tell it how to feel and how to act. A master manipulator knows that if they can control the inputs, they can dictate the output. Consider the famous hot coffee experiment from Yale University. Researchers asked participants to hold a cup of coffee while riding in an elevator. Half the participants were given iced coffee, and the other half were given hot coffee. Later, they were asked to evaluate the personality of a stranger. The results were shocking. The people who held the hot coffee rated the stranger as warm, generous, and caring. The people who held the iced coffee rated the exact same stranger as cold, distant, and selfish. Physical warmth primed their brains for emotional warmth. Now, think about how a manipulator uses this. If they want a favor from you, they won't ask you while you are standing in a cold hallway or sitting on a hard, uncomfortable chair. They will wait. They will invite you to a comfortable space. They will hand you a warm drink or ensure the room is cozy. They're not being nice. They are chemically altering your perception of their character. By the time they ask for the loan, the second chance, or the compromise, your brain is already bathing in a neurochemical state of warmth that makes it physically difficult to be cold or hard-hearted. You think you are responding to their question. Actually, you are responding to the temperature of the room. The second layer of the invisible setup involves the illusion of choice, often executed through a linguistic trap known as the double bind. This is a favorite technique of authoritarian parents and controlling partners. In a normal, healthy negotiation, you have a choice between yes and no. Do you want to go to the party? Yes or no. Do you want to lend me money? Yes or no. But the manipulator removes the no option before the sentence is even finished. They restructure the reality so that both options lead to their desired outcome. They might ask, do you want to discuss the budget now, or would you prefer to go over it after dinner? Notice what happened there. The option to not discuss the budget was removed. If you choose now, they win. If you choose after dinner, they win. By giving you two specific options, they create a false sense of autonomy. You feel empowered because you made a choice, but you are actually herded into a pen. This primes your brain to be cooperative. Because you chose the time, you feel a subconscious commitment to the task. If you try to back out later, they will say, "But you chose to do it after dinner." They use your own compliance against you. This is why you often feel crazy in these arguments. You feel trapped by agreements you don't remember making. This brings us to the environmental architecture of the setup, specifically anchoring. This is where the manipulator sets a baseline that distorts your perception of reality. Imagine you are in a negotiation for a salary, or perhaps you are arguing with a partner about how much time they spend at home. The manipulator will start with an extreme, often absurd request. This is the anchor. They might demand something completely unreasonable. I need you to work every single weekend for the next 3 months. You panic, you fight back, you say absolutely not. Then they retreat to their real goal. Okay, fine. How about just 1 Saturday a month? Suddenly, this terrible offer feels like a victory. You feel a wave of relief. You feel like you won the negotiation. In reality, you just agreed to exactly what they wanted all along. If they had started with work 1 Saturday a month, you might have said no. But because they primed your brain with a worst-case scenario, the bad option feels like a gift. They manipulated your baseline of what is normal so that their abuse or their demands look like compromise. And now we have to talk about the phantom debt, the concept I mentioned earlier. This is the most subtle and effective form of priming because it weaponizes your own morality against you. Human beings are hardwired for reciprocity. If someone gives us something, we have a burning biological desire to give something back. We hate the feeling of being indebted. Manipulators know this, and they will manufacture a debt before they ask for the big sacrifice. This isn't just about buying you a gift, it's more subtle. They might offer a small, unprompted confession of vulnerability. They might say, "I've never told anyone this, but I'm really scared about the future." By sharing a secret, they have given you a gift of trust. Your brain immediately registers a debt. You feel compelled to share something vulnerable in return. You lower your guard. You expose your own weakness to match theirs. Once you have exposed your weakness, the trap snaps shut. They now have the leverage they need. They primed you with a fake vulnerability to extract a real one from you. They created a phantom debt of intimacy, and you paid it with your security. So how do you break this invisible setup? How do you stop your brain from being primed? The solution lies in the pause. You must learn to disconnect the stimulus from the response. When you feel that sudden urge to agree, or that wave of guilt, or that feeling that you owe them an answer right now, stop. That urgency is fake. That urgency is a manufactured emotion created by the setup. You need to physically remove yourself from the environment. If you are sitting in the comfortable chair they chose, stand up. If you are drinking the warm coffee they handed you, put it down. If they gave you 2 options, create a third one. Break the physical and environmental pattern. When you change your physical state, you disrupt the priming effect. You wake up from the trance. You are not a puppet. You are not a machine that simply reacts to inputs. You are a conscious observer, capable of seeing the strings. Once you realize that the warm room, the double-bind questions, and the unearned gifts are just mechanisms of control, they lose their power. You can see them for what they are, stage props in a bad play. And when you see the props, you can finally walk off the stage. Recognizing this manipulation is the hardest step because it requires admitting that we were tricked. But it is also the most liberating moment of your life. If you have recognized these patterns in your own history and you are ready to stop playing their game, I want you to make a promise to yourself right now. Don't write a generic comment. Make a declaration of your new awareness. If you are ready to cut the strings and trust your own reality, leave a comment below with the phrase, "I see the setup." Let that be the moment you take back control.